Here's another brand new Hyundai that looks like no other Hyundai before it. It's the 2024 Santa Fe, and it is unrecognizable to anything the company has made. It looks rugged and boxy, looks like it's ready for off-road, maybe even a budget Land Rover. However you look at it, there's so much technology, brand new design, so many details, you're gonna wanna check it out. The Santa Fe has now gone through 5 generations after nearly 25 years on the market. And this one makes it so much different than the Tucson, which in the last generation was very similar in both size and price. With the addition of a third row seat and all this dramatic new styling inside and out, the Santa Fe is unlike anything Hyundai has ever done. Today's review is brought to you by the letter H. It's emblazoned all across the Santa Fe, including these lights, the DRLs, the turn signals, the lower bumper. There's even more on the sides, the rears, and the inside. But the front, to me, looks like the old Ford Flex, which is actually a good thing. That vehicle was ahead of its time, and in this shape and form, it's looking pretty nice. When you look around the Santa Fe, you'll notice that not everything is as boxy as it appears. The bumper is actually a bit rounded off, as is the hood. So these things are not as flat as you'd expect. My feeling is that if the Land Rover Defender didn't exist, the new Santa Fe wouldn't either. Definitely a lot of inspiration goes into the roofline of this new SUV. Not just because it's longer and has a third row, but the glass. If you just check all that out, how flat it is, even the separation between the windows is almost identical to that Defender. And that's kind of a good thing if you don't want to pay Land Rover prices. This trim is the calligraphy, so it's got the biggest 21-inch wheels. Pretty aggressive, especially on a Santa Fe. This is meant to be really a mainstream family SUV, and it doesn't feel compact anymore. When you look all across this car, you're seeing all sorts of really interesting elements, U-shaped fenders, really all the edges. Even the roof rails have special points on the end of them that they never used to. The longer you look at the Santa Fe, the more details you're gonna find. On the Land Rover Defender, this part of the C-pillar is reserved for accessories, such as an external box or a ladder. Well, Hyundai didn't want to copy that too much, but they've had a handle. What is that for? It's supposed to be so you can grab this and get to the top of the car. But then you got to step on this very, very tall 21-inch tire. Not sure I'd actually use that on a regular basis. The rear of the Santa Fe is where it gets really interesting, because unlike the side and the front, which seems more square and boxy, it actually gets a bit curvy back here, almost like a pumpkin or maybe an old stagecoach. The way the car kind of widens itself on the hips and then comes down. It's kind of odd too because the taillights are so far down. It reminds me of an older El Camino. And again, you get that H pattern for the turn signals and the stoplights. No other vehicle has that. And if you keep looking around, you're gonna see other details, like where's the rear wiper, where it's actually at the top and it extends underneath that deck lid spoiler. That's also another unique touch, doesn't get in the way. Other features like there's extra reflectors down here. Santa Fe is spelled in all caps, very wide. This is something that Hyundai's never tried before, and now that I'm seeing it on the road, it's pretty crazy looking. The Santa Fe is much bigger than before, almost rivaling some bigger mid-size SUVs. 15 cubic feet behind the third row, 40 behind the second row, and 80 when everything is folded. Here's a first for Hyundai, power folding captain's chairs that you can fold and unfold from the touchscreen or from buttons in the cargo area. They're a little slow, but this is such a major convenience and it makes the cargo floor very flat. The previous generation Santa Fe had 2 different engines. Now there's one, the upgrade, the turbocharged 2.5 liter. Look at those numbers, very healthy. A standard across the board on every single trim. There's also a hybrid coming soon. Those details are not yet available, but as you see it now, fuel economy, really good, 28 mpg on all-wheel drive models. All-wheel drive is optional across every trim. An 8-speed dual-clutch automatic is standard, and that dual clutch operates slightly differently than a traditional automatic. Wait for the driving portion of this video and you will see how. Now for towing, 4,500 pounds if you order the XRT, which is the more rugged trim. Otherwise, it's 3,500 pounds across the board. I swear, if you told me this was gonna be a Hyundai 10 years ago, I would have laughed in your face. Everything is upright and boxy in here, very similar to the exterior. But there's parts that really just seem lifted straight up from Land Rover, like this steering wheel. I swear it could be right off the Velar, even how the 2 different types of leather intersect on the rim. And even the center stack, which has very similar climate controls to Range Rover. But there are many elements that just work and are very unique to the Santa Fe, like how the air vents have H patterns on them, front and rear. The way the LED lighting is integrated into the metal trim. And even the simulated wood trim looks convincing. Everything that you see here is so different, although in white like this, I don't know, it's probably gonna get dirty really fast. In all seriousness, this car really has all the fundamentals right. Plenty of visibility, easy ingress and egress, nice wide doors, very open, airy cabin, and very comfortable seats. The Santa Fe comes with 6 or 7 passenger seating. If you order 6, especially on this calligraphy, you're getting some pretty unique features. Power reclining seats on both of these. They're both heated, and even power cushion tilts. Now it's manual to slide back and forth, but there's so much legroom. And there's some other really nice utilitarian features. For example, this console opens reverse hinged, which is nice. Another separate drawer down here. Plenty of cup holders, shades, panoramic moonroof. But just the fact that these seats are so comfortable, it really is worth the price. Third row of seats, standard on every single Santa Fe. And it's also pretty generous with the recline. It's a little awkward to use, but look at that. You can actually sit back here, even with this seat not all the way forward. And I have my own climate controls that the second row can't adjust. It's over on this side. That's a bit of an odd placement. But overall, I actually don't mind being back here. The 12.3-inch touchscreen, it's curved and it's really high res. It looks so much better than before. It's not only just reskinned, it's a new interface, because if you swipe down here, there's extra access controls, just like you'd find on an iPhone. I like that. It just runs a little quicker. The navigation is the same. If you go down here, it's nice that there's actual hard buttons to access this. Hyundai has not removed every touch point, which I really like. Real volumes, real switch knobs, for example. I can still use this tuning knob to zoom in and out of the map. And if I don't want the factory maps, Apple CarPlay is finally wireless. Thank goodness. Took a long time, and so is Android Auto. Other unique features about this new system. On the calligraphy trim, because they are power and heated rear seats, I can control them from the front seat, including power folding and stowing. I like that, completely independent. There's a new feature called Hyundai Pay. It's not set up on this car, but if you use it, it can store your credit card and prepay for parking. This is more of a beta pilot system. It's not everywhere, but it's kind of interesting that it's there. You'll have to let us know if you're actually going to use it on your Santa Fe. You're likelier to use the driver assistance features. There's so many of them that come standard, and I like that the Santa Fe lets you adjust the adaptive cruise control so you can choose how aggressively it accelerates when a car goes out of your lane, how fast it reacts to that car. It's nice because most times these are just preset settings and you cannot change a thing. Now the Santa Fe, you get to. Cameras are also really clear. You can show 360 views of the outside of the car. That's kind of cool. And plenty of views. Including of the wheels, because you don't want to curb these 21s. The Santa Fe puts not one, but 2 wireless charging pads right front and center. It's all out in the open. And it even has these green lights here that will flash and show you when it's charged. Additional USB-C ports, and over here, a UVC button. Turn that on, it will disinfect your phone and anything else you put in the upper glove compartment using ultraviolet light. Kind of interesting. Haven't ever seen that in a new car. The climate controls have also been completely rethought. This is entirely a digital screen. There's no haptic feedback here, but makes little animations. And this is very much like Jaguar Land Rover, completely inspired by that, or copied, depending on how you want to say it, but relatively easy to use, just not quite as simple as having hard buttons like you'll find underneath here. The instrument panel, you can reconfigure the gauges. I like the little racetrack curbing that you just saw there. That's if you're in sport mode, or you just go to simple mode here. There's no full screen maps, and I think Hyundai really could be doing that at this point in time. But still plenty of information on here. It's clear. Steering wheel controls right in front of you, driver assistance features. Just a shame that a lot of the stuff that you really would want to change here, you still have to use the main touchscreen. This is a great standard engine. It's on every single Santa Fe. This is why when you move up to a slightly bigger SUV, you get the engine that matches. Really, this is turbo. It's good. And I'm glad you don't have to pay extra for it. On the old Santa Fe, this was the optional engine. No more. Everyone is now treated to this. And it's got a pretty quick shifting 8-speed dual clutch automatic instead of a conventional automatic. I've found that it really doesn't shift all that much faster, even in sport mode, but it also doesn't slip gears when you're trying to maneuver in parking lots, which has long been the case with dual clutch automatics because it acts like a manual, only you can't control the clutch. So I'm glad that they've fixed that part of it while giving some slightly quicker shifts. It's a pretty good driving experience. Driving this new Santa Fe, I would not think that I'm in the next generation. I think I'm in a completely different automaker's car, really. I'm getting used to this, but it's wild being in this car right now from one model year to the next. Just look at my review of the previous generation Santa Fe. It's there. This is night and day. It really is. And despite this being longer, it feels nimbler than before. I'm feeling lower to the ground. I feel a little bit more secure on the road, and it's most definitely quieter. All these things apply to the top calligraphy trim. So once we drive an XRT or a lesser trim, we'll definitely be able to report how those are. But paying top dollar for the Santa Fe, it gets you a near luxury experience. It does. It's quiet. It rides nicely. These are 21-inch wheels and tires on this trim. And even over broken pavement, it's fine. Like it's pretty impressive what they've done with the tuning of this suspension. Every single model year with Hyundai just seems to get better. And on a car like this, just one of their top selling crossovers, it's clear they put a lot of attention to detail into how this drives. On upper trims, you get Highway Driving Assist 2, which is an upgraded version from, say, 1 or 1.5 that they also have available. This one will automatically change lanes, but it does not self-steer the car hands-free like you'll find with GM Super Cruise. So Hyundai is still not there yet with that level of technology. I'm okay with that because I think everybody should just be paying attention in driving, but don't expect that level, not yet. Among mainstream SUVs in this class, the handling's good. And the steering, while it's not up to luxury car standards of turn-in and accuracy, there's a lot to like here. And previous Hyundai models have never quite gotten both the handling and the steering right. This is almost perfect, if I say so. Road holding is pretty good. I don't remember the last generation Santa Fe doing that. Braking is also pretty improved as well. I feel a more progressive pedal bite. I'm just liking how that feels. The 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe starts at $33,950. There are 5 trims, and the one you see here is the calligraphy, $49,695 with destination. That's more money than for 2023, but you're getting so much more car. So much so that the Santa Fe no longer competes among the compact SUVs. It's now moved up to midsize. There's a lot to unpack with the new Santa Fe because the design is so strikingly different. Hyundai's taking a lot of chances here on a mainstream car. Not all of them, I think, are winning, but the inside, especially the third row, all of the room, and all the new amenities and technology that you've never seen before in a Hyundai, that, I think, is what's really going to catch on. At some point, well, the styling may too. What do you think? There's so many new features here, and there's so many new Hyundai models we keep reviewing. So go to CarGurus.com, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time.